Welcome to NewToMedia, where we connect you to the best service professionals and help you learn about great experiences all over the world.
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. This is Zack Cockfield with NewToMedia. I'm excited to have a special guest with us, the Surfing Realtor from the Tampa Bay area, Dr. Jason Old. Jason has been a lot of fun to get to know a little bit. He is a really unique guy. He has awesome energy, and I think a number of you would have a great time working with him. We're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about his practice. We're going to talk about surfing a little bit. We're going to talk about his PhD and going to, of course, talk about the Tampa Bay area. Thanks for being with us, Jason. How are you?
Good, Zach. Thanks, man. Of course, I appreciate, giving me a chance to get on here, talk about, the area, a city I love so much. And, even my PhD, which, as you very well know, that takes a lot of time and investment too. So, I'm just glad to be here. Super stoked to talk to you.
Outstanding. I have to get right into the surfing first, and I'll share some pictures here in a moment while you're talking about it. But tell me what brought you to surfing? When did you get into surfing?
Oh boy. Well, I grew up at the beach, around Virginia Beach, essentially between like Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And, I started as a bodyboarder actually, and then I converted shortly thereafter. But I've always been around the water, whether it's in the bay or the Sound, and or then the ocean, of course. And so so it's always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I was young, when I've gotten to surfing, I wasn't even a teenager. So, but it was, that photo's, I hate wearing wetsuits, by the way, but that's actually in San Diego at a place called Tourmaline. And super fun little spot, nothing crazy. But it was a mellow day, and those are some friends actually from an academic conference I was at San Diego State University called, believe it or not, the Stoke Sessions. And it was on.
That's great.
So everybody you see there are basically scholars that do research on surfing, whether it's
no kidding,
tourism, or in my case, I'm a historian, even like sort of oceanography and bathymetry and how that impacts waves. And it's just a bunch of surfers that have PhDs that, are trying to make a living talking about surfing. So I suppose because we maybe weren't good enough to be pros or something. I don't know. So we had to figure out a way to workaround. Yeah. So, but that's it. Man, you're putting that photo of them and remembering how cold it was. That's more like it right there. That's down in Nicaragua. Actually, that board I'm carrying is right behind. I'm trying to point. It's right behind me there. As you can see in that photo, it's white. It's a new board. And it's back behind me. I love that board, but it's had a lot of use.
Yeah.
And that was a company. My buddy, he's over in Cocoa Beach. He shaped it. So that's one of my favorite places. Actually, in the little icon, I don't know if people can see it, but one where I'm in the water.
We're gonna get to that. That's this one. That's at the icon.
Yeah, that's Nicaragua as well. So
that's super cool.
My buddy Rick took that photo. In fact, my buddy Rick loaned me that wetsuit because, believe it or not, the water gets cold in Nicaragua in February, March, April time, because we have offshore winds pretty much all year round, but they get so strong that they create upwelling, and and it makes the water cold. So that's actually me in Central America with a wetsuit on. So
wow.
And so but
no, I believe it. I just had a thought, especially with some of these movies that I've seen recently that were kind of silly, like what was it? Something about sharks in Paris. Tell me, you had crazy shark encounters? That
Oh
shows how
man.
little I know about surfing, but
So,
I
look,
hear that they're getting worse.
I don't know about that. That's Nicaragua too, wearing a wetsuit. So again, that's that cold. That's actually the small season for waves. So, but as far as sharks,
yeah.
and now there are sharks in Nicaragua. My friends that spearfish and stuff, they encounter like bull sharks and stuff like that. But for me, like where that is, that's Popoyo. That's giving away a secret spot. Everybody's by this point heard of it. But I don't, I surf right till dark essentially there, and I don't ever worry about sharks. Now, on the East Coast of Florida, where, when I go with my girlfriend, who she loves surfing New Smyrna Beach, and it's great. There's great waves.
So your girlfriend surfs too?
Yeah, she's yeah, so it's awesome to be there surfing with her, and she's a great surfer. And so, but she that's her favorite place to go, and it's definitely known for being let's call it a very healthy ecosystem.
Really?
If you know what I mean. So,
and what part of Florida is that?
New Smyrna. It's in Volusia County, so it's just south of Daytona, actually north of Cocoa Beach.
Wow.
It's really part of the if we talk about surfing in Florida, right? The swell corridor is really between sort of, we'll say New Smyrna, Ponce Inlet, like that area. To the north, and then I had to redo my hands here, and then south to we'll say like Sebastian Inlet. So those two inlets, like also it's not uncommon for bull sharks to go in there and do their thing. So but there's surf south of Melbourne, of course, but you start getting a little too far south, and South Florida is blocked by the Bahamas, actually. So south swells and stuff don't really make their way in as well. Like maybe some north swells and stuff can, because the Bahamas are not to the north. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as sharks, I mean, I was, first of all, New Smyrna, like for the listener, just go to hashtag Shark Park, because that's the hashtag for New Smyrna. So if you hashtag Shark Park, but I was there the other day, and I don't want to deter people, by the way, but I was there the other day, and I'm sitting there, my girlfriend and I were surfing, and some friends are out or whatever, and I'm looking, and you hear like kind of this like flappy sound, and I don't know how to describe it, but and I look, and I'm like, and it was a spinner shark just flying out of the water, and I look at her, and she's like, I was hoping you didn't see that. And so, because I'm always more worried about it, but she's like, dude, they're out there, like, but I'm a little more like looking around and seeing. But yeah, they're there. I mean, you're in the ocean, so you're in their home. So they're going to be there. Again, places like New Smyrna and Cocoa and Satellite and all that, like there's a lot of fish running certain times of the year, and sharks are chasing the fish, and it's for all intents and purposes, a pretty healthy ecosystem, which is not a bad thing.
No, absolutely. I'm going to do another screen share for just a second on something a little different.
Everybody, all the listeners are probably like, dude, are we going to talk about real estate, or are we just going to talk about
exactly? No, we're going to get there too. So like right now, I'm sharing Tampa, Florida, because that's the area that Jason most closely or most often aligns with. But I will say, we are also, NewToMedia is all over the place. We have about 220 sites, 220 cities that we're representing. So we're connecting people with professionals from all over the place. And we're also going to, oh, nice, the cookies being unfun here. We're also going to be, in Jason's case, because he is in a part of Florida and he actually gets over to the East Coast of Florida too, he may be able to help viewers on the West Coast of Florida in that, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area, maybe getting down to Sarasota, but he also gets over to the East Coast of Florida. So if you're in the Orlando area or getting into Cocoa Beach, there are a number of other, sites that we're working with folks in for locations that we're helping folks in, and he may be able to assist you there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
On the,
I mean, you've like dropped pins on all the places where I like either lived or worked or spent a lot of time right there. It's like Tampa. I know I've been living in Tampa since '04.
right.
Lakeland, I worked for, I drove there for, commuted from Tampa to Lakeland for 17 years as a university professor.
Yeah.
And, I watched that place grow. And then
Right.
of course, being that, I spend a lot of time in Orlando as well. My girlfriend lives there. And, and then my obsession with surfing takes me, basically I know I-4. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so I kind of, without knowing or without real intention ended up, learning all of these areas and watching them grow in terms of real estate, and
Yep.
so, yeah.
Yeah. So Jason he's going to be a resource for you really in Central Florida, going from coast to coast. So if you're looking in the Tampa area over to, to Lakeland, to Orlando, to even getting out to the coast on the East Coast side, and you have even family members in the business. I think you said your dad's in the business, right?
I mean, my dad's up in, basically the border with North Carolina and Virginia, like northeast, right there at the border and then basically Currituck County. And then that would include the northern part of the Outer Banks. So
okay.
I was just talking to him the other day, and he's got, there's still places there that are 4-wheel drive only access. And, there's places people can buy there, and, but we're actually, I'm glad. Thank you for mentioning that, by the way. And I owe him a, huge shout out for being like, he got me into doing real estate, right? My granddad did real estate. My dad did real estate, my brother's involved in, sort of that industry development and all that. And then I was, got involved, but we're tag teaming a deal, our first sort of tag team, which is just kind of cool, like he's got some people in, North Carolina that are selling, and they're moving to Orlando. And, it's just really cool when you can do things with family members or friends.
It really is.
It's just, so I, my dad was like, "Hey dude, you think you can handle this?" I'm like, "Come on, man, let's be serious here." He's like, I'm like, "Dude, let's do this." Like, and it's just cool, to be able to do that and make that connection and really like, finding realtors that are really good at what they do, that are trustworthy. That means a lot. That's worth a lot. And, like I told them, like you've got someone you're trusting on that end, and then you have their son down here. And so we got you, we've got you from selling your home there to coming down here. I'll help with short-term rental while we like seal the deal. And just what a cool opportunity, so I'm stoked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think you're going to have people from all over the country. They're going to reach out because they're thinking about moving to Florida, but they're not exactly sure what part. I mean, there are a lot of, wonderful places. We just had a real estate professional from down in Miami on the show last week, and she's amazing, and Miami is amazing, but it's a very different experience. So you have to kind of know what you're looking for. I'm going to do a screen share again to show a couple of these other places and a couple of these other really cool images that you're sharing for the audience. Here is a picture from Ybor.
Oh, Ybor.
Ybor, I'm sorry. I keep doing it. Anyway.
Oh, you're good. Look, when I moved down, I already told you this, so I'm going to tell the audience. But, when I first moved down for grad school back in 2004, I was like, what is this Ybor place? And I learned Ybor. But, I give like history tours of it now. So I know what Ybor is, where it comes from. It's the last name of the founder of the city. And that photo, by the way, that you just showed was that was recent. And I did a incredible oh, it's just it was such a fun day. I thought it was going to rain, but as you can see, the sun came out. But, that mural, I always love to get that photo with guests. It's just, it's got the vibe. I love Ybor. It's got the trolley, and it's got Ybor himself kind of up in the corner. You can see his like really awesome mustache. But,
okay. Yeah.
And so this was, Austin, he reached out to me. He's a professor at Virginia Tech. And he's like, hey man, like,
Virginia Tech. I'm a Virginia Tech grad. You didn't tell me you were going.
Oh, there you go, dude. Yeah. So fellow Hokie.
Right on.
But he's like, hey man, he's like, my dad, I want to do something for my dad. Can we do a tour? And I'm like, yeah. And he was saying like, we'd want to pop in and get some shade because, dude, we know it's hot down here. So I was like, look, I'll tell you what, man, I'll block this off. It'll just be us. And, I didn't charge him the full private fee. And I said, well, it's two of you guys, just pay me this. We're going to make this extra special for Father's Day. And
awesome.
We had a blast. And they're actually from the area that we'll call it the Tampa Bay area. And Austin went to UF. So, that's Gainesville. And,
that's cool.
We had a blast. And I love I get people from all around the world, Finland, China. I mean, you name it. I get to show people this incredible historic city from all around the world. But I love getting people who are local, that are I walk past this history every single day or, on the weekend when they're out, doing whatever. And it's always cool to say, hey, all right, I know, there's great breweries, there's great this, there's great that. I mean, the cigars. But let's take a step back and let's learn about its history, right? Yeah. And it's a real special thing, even for people that are from here, and no different than somebody giving you a history of Colonial Williamsburg or
absolutely.
Bourbon Street or Boston, right? All these incredibly historic places. I feel like everywhere has some history,
story to tell, right?
For good and for bad. Yeah, exactly. And so like Ybor's just right here. And I would, hey, I don't know if you allow for comments on this, but I'm going to go ahead and put this out and let's see what people say. But I put Ybor up in the top 20. I'm going to be generous of most historic places on the East Coast of the U.S.
I like
it. And I'm gonna go as far as to throw New Orleans in there, right? And I know that's not the East Coast, but I'm gonna throw it in there just for fun. Yeah. And so to all your listeners and realtors who know their areas intimately, I'm putting Ybor in the top 20. So prove me wrong.
Very cool. One of the other things that I think is cool to share, and I'll let you, give more of the details on it, but people moving from big cities in the Northeast and even in a couple of places out west are used to having public transportation. So in the Tampa area, they do have some public transportation. There is a trolley. There is bus service. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It is, I guess it is technically public transportation, but so that's right there by Ybor's original cigar factory. Kind of on the other side. I'm like moving my hand like that does anything for the listener, but so it's there's a sign up above that building that says Ybor Square, right? And so that's kind of the old, we'll call it the old part of Ybor, as if Ybor is all sort of old. It was founded in 1885. So but that's right there by the original cigar factory. It's essentially across from the old fire station, which is now being converted into a really cool brewery. And then it's right by the Jose Marti Park. So it's I love starting my experience there, the tour, for all the historic value. But, back to your question, so you can take that trolley, and I've done it with friends that come to visit just because it's super fun. You cruise around Ybor, and then you can take it to Channelside. And, I guess to sort of like combine what we were all looking at with that design on the trolley. That was the Tampa Bay Bolts, the Lightning. That's my team. And so with my buddy, we hopped on the trolley, we cruised Ybor because they were staying in Channelside. So we came into Ybor, took them all around, gave them the tour, of course. And then we came back and we went to the hockey game because they were staying right by the arena, and because the arena's in Channelside. So you can just kind of buzz around, and like I was kind of playing tourist, to be honest with you, but it's fun, and so I don't know. I just think the trolley is really cool, and it's just
absolutely.
You're just kind of in this really historic place that holds a lot of historic value, and just a rich history of like immigrant history, labor history, mafia history.
Wow.
There's a lot of history in that place, and I just feel very fortunate that I'm able to share that with people. And I think it's important. I think it's also important for people that want to buy homes, like sort of segueing into real estate, right?
It is.
We have a number of very historic parts of Tampa, right? You have, Ybor. Ybor's got its historic district, and there you can find the maps. I have all the maps. I like obsess over them, but okay, cool. So that's I just did an open house at that house the other day. Like that's my buddy's listing, our team's listing. And so that's in Seminole Heights, technically. So if you're for all the listeners, just look up Seminole Heights. I love that area, and that's inside the formal local historic boundaries of Seminole Heights.
Oh, okay.
And so Ybor is kind of the same. It's got like national boundaries and then local boundaries and all that. And Seminole Heights is sort of similar. And then you have Hyde Park, and then Tampa Heights, I believe, is another one that has Tampa Heights was founded in 1898, I think.
Okay.
Any of my historian friends that watch this, there's some other incredible public historians that do tours in Tampa too. I'm not the only one. So if you're listening and I got that date wrong, put in the comments if there's comments. So, but I think it was 1898. So there's a lot of, that's the same year as the Spanish-American War, which again, I don't want to get too off track, but that ties into Tampa history, like the infantry that went to Cuba, including Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. They went out of Tampa. They stayed They stayed at the Tampa Bay Hotel, which everyone now knows as the University of Tampa. And so, Plant Hall is it was Plant, that was the one that built the hotel, and that's why we have Plant City here too. But it became. Eventually is now part of the University of Tampa. So they stayed at the Tampa Bay Hotel, and then went out from the port and went to Cuba.
Super cool. All right. Well, speaking of outside of the U.S. and Latin America, let's talk about your PhD for a second, because we've got some pictures from time that you spent in Nicaragua. Tell us about that.
Let's see what pictures you're showing, the fun stuff. Nicaragua has just been a place that's near and dear to my heart, since 2004. Let's see what. So that's a property, that I'm actually in the process, speaking of real estate, of selling it, and to my neighbor actually, but and so that was a piece of property I bought back in 2004, which did not look like that back then. It was, my buddy was like throwing a rock and being like, so the boundaries are from here, to here. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And, around 2016, we sort of cleared the underbrush and started to just, myself and a local there who's a very good friend. And we just, I say we, but really he, because with just the local knowledge and, these people are so, that's looking down the property. It's a sanctuary.
It looks like a beautiful place. And this is, we need to stop and make sure that the audience knows, because I don't think I took the time to say this before, Jason, but Jason's bilingual. Jason is fluent in Spanish as well as English, so he can help buyers or sellers from many different markets, and he can even help people to make purchases or sales in Spanish-speaking countries. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about reaching out to Jason.
Yeah, and I have friends that are in the business in Nicaragua and El Salvador, and I'm for those of you who los que hablan español, estoy a la orden. I'm at your service. So,
good stuff.
I'm here to help. Super stoked. Love to talk about that part of the world. It's and so to your question, like I never in my wildest dreams.
Wow, look at that yard. Holy cow.
I know. Oh, I wish I sent you a before picture because that would really blow your mind. But yeah, we planted that grass like literally strand by strand, and it just started to seed itself and grow. Like it's
beautiful. Man,
and by the way, my buddy cuts that not with a lawnmower, but with a weed eater.
Well, he cuts it really well for a weed eater.
Oh, dude,
it looks like a putting green out there. He's a hell of a groundskeeper there.
Some of my buddies are like, "Yo, dude, can we golf here?" I'm like, "Nah, man, get out of here! Like, I don't want you to destroy my stuff." But yeah, so like, I just fell in love with the place, and I worked at a surf camp there, and I never look. I actually dropped out of grad school to work as a surf guide there. I had no intention of ever coming back to the U.S., much less to go sit in a classroom and learn about Don Quixote or whatever. Which, by the way, I do like those books for the record. But when here I am surfing perfect waves, warm water, eating good, I'm like, dude, why would I ever want to go to school? But long story short, I decided it was in my best interest to go back, finish. I started teaching, kept going back to Nicaragua, and then eventually started my PhD. And it was, if you listen to other podcasts I'm on, I talk about my committee chairs for my dissertation committee. Like, one of them was like, I thought she was joking, honestly. She's like, because like I wanted to write about the Nicaraguan and Cuban revolutions. Like that's really my thing, right? Revolutions, insurgencies, counterinsurgencies, all that stuff. Like I love that stuff. So, and so anyways, like, she's like, dude, you're going to be like 10 years doing that. There's so much written about that like, it'll be hard to break in. Right. And have your intervention, what we call it. And so she's like, dude, she didn't say, dude, she said, why don't you write about surfing in Nicaragua? And I thought she was joking. And I was like, okay. Like, and I thought I was going to be writing about my buddies, and anybody who's done a PhD dissertation from like a serious institution knows that it is not that at all. And it's very rigorous. And, after many, years of doing research and then living in Nicaragua and doing interviews and more research. And then after 407 pages, people call me doctor now. So but I feel so fortunate and humbled and honored, to have written the only local surf history of Nicaragua. It's just a cool story, and as I was writing, and I know this isn't about my research too much, but
no, it's about whatever we want it to be about, man.
It's a story of real estate too, by the way. It's a story of land. And it's a story of colonization, And so, but the silver lining for me, so a story that really emerged that I like to talk a lot about is that against the backdrop of all that sort of the Western surfer colonization that took place, it impacted the locals to where young kids who were either at the surf camps working in the kitchen or whatever gravitated to the sport, adopted the sport, and now absolutely dominate the sport. And it's a beautiful story. I love that. And so
that is so cool. Now you're saying that the Nicaraguan surfers dominate the sport?
Yeah. Like, when we think about Hawaii, right? For example, Hawaii, again, that's a story of colonization too. But, Hawaii had a robust surfing culture when white Westerners, haoles showed up on the scene. And it was one of the most robust surf cultures we know of right now, right? And and so whereas there it was very much inextricably linked to everything Polynesian or Hawaiian. Nicaragua did not. The Nicaraguans of the coast did not surf. They fished. It was fishing villages, and so they had an intimate connection with the water, which included stories of like hobgoblins and little myths and stuff like that, which are also really cool. But they weren't surfers. They were fishermen, and so when surfing came in, the youth did not abandon their historical sort of traditions of fishing. They began to weave this new aquatic culture together with their longstanding traditions of fishing. And so, that's really cool. And so, they became very proficient on the waves. And look, I can tell you one thing, I'm getting older now. And so like, I remember when they were getting their butts kicked by the waves and I was out surfing them. Now I don't stand a chance, luckily they're my friends and know me as like, now I'm like the older guy in the water, like an OG from back in the day. They'll let me have some waves, but like, it's just cool, and so I just feel very fortunate to have written about that. But, back to sort of the heart of the podcast, it's a story about land. It's a story about the agrarian reform and neoliberalism and privatization and all these things. You have to understand that to understand how we are where we are right now in terms of the surf culture and property in Nicaragua. And so it does tie into the podcast.
No, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely embrace capitalism, and we're certainly going to be talking about helping people live their best life through working with professionals. But we want to talk about the history of the different places that we're showcasing and what makes them unique, and absolutely. And we want to help Americans also explore other parts of the world, which you're helping them to do. So, our 50 or so sites that are outside the U.S. are focused on places that Americans typically travel to for tourism, or are sometimes retiring to, and we absolutely want to do that.
Yeah, and I just I do want to add, I living in Central America, Westerners, right, can certainly get a bad reputation for certain types of behaviors, and I don't want to frame all Westerners going to these places as inherently awesome. They're not. Right. There are some good people, but there are some less than good people. Absolutely. And really for me, and this ties into my local tours, my tours that I do in Cuba, the tours that I do in Nicaragua, just everything about who I am I'm an educator, right? And that's what I love about real estate, teaching, particularly first-time home buyers, like, hey man, this is daunting and it's scary for you, but I got you, right? I got you. We're going to do this and I'm going to teach you the ropes. And so all that to say, something that's very important to me with what you're talking about, the real estate and all that, is also making sure that these Westerners, Americans or Europeans or whoever, they're also respectful of these places. And again, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm picking on them, because you can go, I've spent plenty of time in Bali, and, that's predominantly Australians, that are, have a less than savory or less than favorable reputation in some cases, but in other cases they're well liked. And so I just want to sort of not get on my high horse, just sort of say, hey guys, like when we go to these places, we want to understand and be mindful and respectful of the people that live there. Absolutely. You are a guest, and we want to, and I think that's gotten me, and also knowing Spanish, it's gotten me very far, in the sense that, that shows a high level of respect. And so I know I'm digressing, so let's get back to real estate.
No, it's great. It's great. I think coming back to just, relationships and building, if not communities, at least expanding your circle through surfing and real estate. I mean, I can tell you shared some great photos. Whoops, I need to hit screen share. A couple of other photos I'm going to share are, I guess, some of the folks that you've connected with through your travels.
Oh, well, those are like some of my closest friends. That was
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
I thought they were surfing folks. Sorry.
no. Well, I mean, one of them, the one directly across from me, is one of my best buddies. Well, they're all like some of my closest friends, but
Yeah.
Tony surfs, so we go surf together. And yeah, we've surfed in Nicaragua. Have traveled internationally to play soccer. We've done nonprofit stuff, and we surf. And so yeah, and then my buddy that's closest to us on the left is that he's he lives in Colorado, snowboarding, and I go snowboarding with him. And then
he would be a good guest once we get into snow season. When we get into the winter, we need to bring him on as a guest, and that's one thing.
Yeah, we need to like highlight some snowboard realtors, realtors. But
I would love that.
Yeah, and then Jesse is the one across from Kev, and he's one of my closest friends as well, and he's finishing his doctorate in public health. So that's the crew right there. We were having just enjoying the sunset there in St. Pete, Treasure Island, actually, specifically. So
beautiful place. All right, I'll share another one because it's kind of funny. Obviously, the podcasting is really popular right now. Jason has participated in a number of interviews because of his research, his education, his surfing, and also his real estate. But one of the things that I'm excited about is I think Jason may be joining us a little bit more regularly to talk about real estate with other realtors. So one thing that I think would be fun is just to hear a little bit more of how Jason would want to put his stamp on the show and how he would want to make the New2 podcast your own. Tell me about what you do.
Dude, you put me on the spot. You did not tell me.
I definitely did put you on the spot with that one.
Okay. I got that. Well, look, the podcast is I feel like I'm being interviewed right now. I mean, I am, but
no.
So, all right, look, to all the users, to you, Zach, this is a podcast about real estate. Let's be honest. And so that has to really be at the heart of it. But, but I also think it's important that as for me as a historian and, someone who gives tours around here and whatnot, like I think what would be really cool is, people, of course, highlighting, the real estate and what's going on and, the market's hot or this and that. And, but there's other podcasts that do that and do an incredible job of it. And then there's other, like I have my surf podcast. So like, we don't need another one of those. So, but I think finding people, because I think, realtors, like a lot of them are really into something else too. Like whether it's, mountain climbing or salsa dance, whatever it may be, surfing or snowboarding or whatever.
Broadway shows or whatever it is, they have something else. Yeah.
So I think it's cool to like have them talk about these areas they love, because I think it needs to be educational, and some of the places they love to go, and like the hyper local places that we love to support, but also like a little bit about who they are, like their hobbies, like, okay, so I do real estate. I'm a buyer's agent, or I'm a listing agent. I love working with first-time home buyers or whatever. But like, I'm also a painter. Like, check out my paintings, and
that
like
awesome.
You've done for me with surfing. You've allowed me to talk about a sport I love, and when the waves are good, hopefully Wednesday I'll be, with my girlfriend surfing. But
well, this go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so that's really what I would envision, like. And you don't have to be an extreme sports person or whatever, like,
sure.
But I do think pulling out the uniqueness of each guest, because I think we all do have something we really love, and whether it's become a career or it's a hobby or whatever, like, we do real estate. Many of the people that you're bringing on, they do real estate, but then they also do other things. And I think that's important. I think we can weave all of that together, and then also, promote some of our places we like to go. I love being in Ybor. I love being here in Tampa Heights. Like, I'm stoked on, and I feel like I go to the same places all the time, but they never get old. And
no, that's it. I mean, you got so many great places in your part of the world. I mean, it's great that you're connecting with other realtors in other parts of the world, but you're also, I think, if somebody contacts you, you're going to be helping them live their best life. You're going to help them find the fun things to do, because a lot of people that are going to be moving to Florida are, if not retired, they're at least, at the phase that I'm at, where they're starting to slow down. And they're ready to have some fun. And Florida is one of those places where there are just so many great things to do, obviously out on the water. But if you're a golfer, like I'm trying to play a little bit of golf, if you're, wanting to travel, there's a lot of great airports to travel out of. There's so many great things to do. If you're into sports, it's all there. And so, I think Jason's going to be one of those people that's going to be a great guide for you. And I think he's also going to be a great help to us as we connect with other realtors. So I'm going to probably wind it down with that, Jason. I hope we're going to be doing a lot more of these, but I think we, got a lot of great examples. I'll maybe try to get one or two more here. I didn't do any of the real estate videos. I think we'll probably do those next time, but I think we can at least try to get a couple more shots of just some of the.
I think we talked about surfing more than anything, but that's cool. That's kind of why I branded myself. I was thinking of, what would set me apart, so to speak. And, highlighting that, I have my boards right behind me actually, but that's part of my life. And, I kind of, and to those of you, the real estate folks out there, that are listening or whatever, one of the things for me, I was like, oh, well, is Florida Surfing Realtor, is like Instagram. Like, people take that seriously, oh, should I do luxury real estate or whatever? And I went back and forth with my girlfriend about this. I'm like, what, make it sound all fancy and like high end and this and that. And she's like, Jason, dude, you're a surfer, you do real estate. You're a historian. You just be you. And I think
exactly.
And I think that's good advice. I think that's, I'm not some seasoned agent, whatever, but I do think we can sort of lean into surfing or snowboarding or golfing, whatever it is, and be that, because that's who you can connect with. I had a guy, I'll tell you this, that's El Salvador, by the way. I know we're trying to wind down. So I had a guy from New Jersey call me and message me on Instagram.
That's the Keanu Reeves picture, by the way, for all the ladies out there. That's the Keanu Reeves Breakpoint picture, right?
Oh, Point Break. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Funny enough, Zach, that actually is technically a point break where I'm surfing. So
really? Now what makes it a point break? Tell me, what is that?
The way it sort of, so imagine a mountain or a point on the shore sticking out into the ocean. It can be rock, it can be reef, it can be, the side of a cliff. And then as a wave comes in, it sort of reels and breaks off of that because of what we call the bathymetry, right? What's the contours of the ocean floor dictate how that wave is going to end its life, essentially, collapse. But it collapses in a way that is favorable for surfing, right? So not every wave is favorable for surfing, and that's all. It's the direction of the wave coming in, the size of the wave coming in, the winds that are working, the contours of the ocean. So, but that's a point break. So, but yeah, I had a guy from Jersey call me the other day. He's like, yeah, man, he's looking for a place in Cocoa Beach. Actually, he's like, man, I'm reaching out to you, cause man, you speak my language and blah, blah, blah. I'm a surfer, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll help you, and that's not to brag about me. That's to sort of encourage those of you all out there who are, have a hobby you love, and you're like, should I lean into that with real estate, or should I show these fancy
be yourself, man. Absolutely.
And
absolutely be yourself.
I say do it. I don't know.
No, it's all good. I know it's the way to do it, because you come across as authentic, and people know that when you're being yourself and you're enjoying the way you're working, it's gonna make you more effective at what you do too, because you're gonna wake up energized and ready to go every day. And it doesn't mean that everybody you work with has to be, surfing age. I mean, you're gonna still. It doesn't mean that your customers are going to be, but they're just going to appreciate that you are being yourself, and that you're joyful, and that you're passionate about it.
And
so
that's
great.
And some won't, quite frankly. Some are like, I want to be with someone who's wearing a tie, and that's cool. I mean, there's 25,000 realtors in Tampa. There's certainly one that you connect with and resonates with you and how you like to do business. So right on.
Well, I've been an investment advisor for 25 years, and in my early years, I wore a lot of suits, but I can tell you I'm a better investment advisor now after 25 years, even though I don't really wear the suits much. So it's all good.
I think that's less about the suits and more about your wisdom. But
that's right. I don't have the hair I used to have, but I'm better at the job.
Oh yeah. So no, you're seasoned. They're like, you don't need a tie anymore. You got.
That's right.
So my dad's old school. He wears a tie. He loves a tie. Loves to be in the office.
Right on. Well,
he can't wrap his head. He can't wrap his head around the fact that I'm like, dude, I don't go to the office, man. I'm out and about meeting people. That's just not how we roll.
That's right. Hey, I mean, you're out doing research. I mean, we have a number of other real estate related videos that we can share from recent listings or that Jason has been dealing with. So anybody that inquires to his affiliate link, we'll of course get you in contact with Jason so that he can share those. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And Jason, I look forward to doing another one of these with you really soon.
Oh, thanks, Zach, dude. No, it's been awesome. And thank you for having me on. Thank you guys. And obviously I wish you best of luck. I hope I'm more involved with what you're doing, but this has been an honor and a privilege.
I know you will be.
Thank you guys.
I know you will be. Okay. Good
stuff. Let's go.